we are here for our third Transformation Tuesday, and I'm so excited for our guest today, Alicia. She's going to share her story, her struggles before finding MetaPWR, even maybe some challenges that she had along the way with the new metabolic system. And so I want to give her the majority of the time so that she can share and you guys can hear from her, because if you're anything like me, sometimes you need help in that belief category, right? Where you're like, is this going to work for me? Like, what is this all about? Can I do this? And so, Alicia, I just want you to start by just sharing a little bit about who you are, kind of your story, things you were struggling with before, so that people can get to know that part of you before we get into the questions.
Absolutely. My name is Alicia Matisse. I am a wellness advocate with doTERRA. I have been for 12 years. So I am familiar with past, systems that doTERRA has had previously, Slim and Sassy. And so I can kind of speak to that as well. But something that I just have a heart for is anybody in this metabolic system area of your life that you struggle with, right? Only so many of us, only 7% to be exact, have optimal metabolic health. And I am one who has struggled forever. Like all my life, I have had ups and downs in my metabolic health area. And so it's really something that I'm super passionate about, because I have found success with MetaPWR. And it just brings me to tears, because like people need what we have. And if you haven't tried it yet, just wait, because I think that hopefully you'll feel empowered to try it yourself. But so, in the past couple of years, my husband's mom had been, her health has been going downhill. And so we actually lost her last spring. And so it was a really tough year for us. And so, of course, with the toughness of emotions and traveling, we traveled 2 hours to go help her. I kind of put myself on the back burner, and that's kind of where the, weight came back on. And I struggled, emotionally through that. And so that leads me to, September, when this came out. We were at convention. I kind of was in a low place of metabolically speaking. I was, had gained quite a bit of weight because of the life things that happen, right? And we just kind of let them, if we're not conscious of that. And so it was something that when it was announced at convention, I was like, okay, I have to try this. Like I was excited to try it. I had no idea the benefits that I would feel from it. And so, yes, with benefits comes other things as well, right? Some not so fun things, which I'll talk in a minute about. But it just was interesting, because it was something that I was like, okay, what is this all about, right? And so listening through convention, I'm assuming most people maybe have heard some of the science, some have not. And if you haven't, I highly suggest going through the 30-day, the training course for MetaPWR. It is so helpful. The science and the doctors who speak to why the system was created as a system and why it works the way that it does. I cannot repeat that information. That's something that I do not have that expertise in, but they do such a great job. And so I knew when I listened to that, I was like, okay, there's something special about this, right? And so I listened to it. I dove into the science. I was like, okay, there's reasons why this has to work, right? And so with that belief of course, I have 12 years of experience with doTERRA. I trust them, right? Because they have never steered me wrong yet. And so that was something that was really important to me, was to understand why MetaPWR was created and what it did for our bodies. And so I just started it on September 15th. I said, okay, I stood in the back of product pickup and I said, I have to try this. I shook the Advantage in some water. And what I noticed it's going to bring me to tears. Like it just metabolically speaking, I felt my cells like start to come alive again. And that was a pretty special moment for me, because of everything we had been through, right? I was like, okay, I knew there was something special. And some people feel that with MetaPWR and some people don't, right? It's kind of like, yeah, your cells kind of start to come alive. So when I felt that just from drinking the Advantage, I was like, okay, I know that there's something special here, and I can't wait to see what the results have been. And I am shocked, like every month, I just am shocked at like my own results, right? Like I share my results, and you have shared some of them. But to date, so what I noticed the most was the energy that I felt alive again. And for so many of us, that is something that is priceless, right? Look at what we've just been through for the last years,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like,
was just gonna say, like, I just want to pause and like recognize what we've all been through for the last 3 years. And going back to what you mentioned about being the care provider for your mother-in-law, and like we have all, in some way, shape, or form, have put ourselves on the back burner to show up and serve, or maybe even protect other people, right, during this season. And so when you talk about your cells coming alive, it's like there's parts of our bodies that maybe haven't worked for years, but definitely in the last few years that have been neglected. And the fact that it's like a multifaceted system that it's going to re-engage and like reboot and kind of recalibrate. Your experience from the get-go was like, whew, this is an immediate feeling. And I actually had that too. And then I went into a little bit of a like I would say detox, like my body had to adjust because there were things that were waking up that hadn't been calibrated that hadn't been speaking well to each other for a while. So yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to
okay.
like validate that we've all been through a
Yeah,
lot. And
it's so
it's almost like, and God's really been speaking to me about just like breathing again. Like this has just been giving so much of us like a breath of fresh air, like a breath into living again, and that we can breathe and just kind of have that margin in our lives to pause and make changes consciously and not just react throughout our day. So it's just been that breath of fresh air for
And
sure.
that's so true. Like, I actually have worked with so many people, especially my sister, who before MetaPWR, she was like, I think I'm going to have to go on some medications, right? Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just want to be happy again and live again, right? Like, if you feel that way, like, oh
Mhm.
my goodness, like we just sit and cry sometimes because MetaPWR has helped with the anxiousness that she dealt with for so long. And I'm so grateful. Like, so that, like, for me, like when you say pause and just take a moment, that's what this is doing for us and so many others, is being able to like live again. And that is just priceless, right? So for me personally, I noticed, my, like, all the changes, right? Like my hair started growing, like I started actually not losing hair in the shower, like since
Mhm.
I've had my son 11 years ago. I'd lost like clumps of hair in the shower, and that started to go away. I'm also a massage therapist, and I have to cut my nails a lot more, so they're growing quicker. And I have to cut them because I have to keep them short for massages. But so there's all these things that are changing, right? The one thing I didn't realize that would change so quickly for me was inflammation. And me being a massage therapist, I knew that, okay, like I saw it in other people. I saw it in some of the gals in my downline, and I was like, you have to take a picture. Please take a picture. And it had only been a week at that point, and I was like, I see differences in you just from online on Zooms and stuff. And they're like, Alicia, you have to take a picture because you're changing. I was like, yeah, right. No way. This is too soon. And so then I took a picture, and I was like, okay, like this is working in so many more ways than I even knew, right? And so I was like, okay, what's going on here, right? And so instantly, like really, it was like, okay, I started to feel like some of the inflammation go down and some of those things. But something I didn't realize, right, was that some of, like you said, some of those digestive issues had to like work themselves out, right? So super gassy at the beginning. And I tell people like, it's a process. I promise it's part of the detox process, and just work through it because your body has to change in order to release the things that we need it to. Okay. And so, and I have always been somebody who my body doesn't agree really well at all with like a lot of carbohydrates. So I try to not eat a ton of carbohydrates, whereas some people haven't changed their diet. I focused on, increasing veggies and increasing protein and really, and so for me, that's what works. And that's what's, I've been able to change. As far as the weight part of this, I haven't done nothing. Like there are some people who say I haven't changed anything. I had more energy to work out. I had more energy to, doing, a few miles each day on the treadmill, walking and running. I wanted to get my energy out. And so those were things that worked for me because I had the energy to do them again, and not just like, I have all this energy, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so those are changes that I was like, I instantly started being like, okay, like there's something here. I feel my body changing. And but so really I've been able to release I think today, which I haven't even, you guys, I have my results like this week to share, like because it's been 5 months. This week
Mm.
is usually my share week, so you guys get to know it first. But I
Yay.
think I'm at 26 pounds released. The last update I gave was 22 pounds released, and I'm so grateful for that. But really what I want to tell you is to stay consistent. Like if you do nothing else, like consistency is key here.
And when you say consistency, you're meaning by taking the daily products. It's a 3-part system, not necessarily like you need to start eating this way and you have to start moving this much a day. It's like that is the baseline. And then those desires and realignments will come out naturally as a result of that consistency in doing the 3-part system every day. Correct?
I want to say amen, because yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
And
doTERRA
that's be different for everybody, right? It's
Yes.
personal wellness realized. And so your desire to move came and was birthed from that experience of like, my cells feel alive and I just feel like moving today. But that might be different for somebody listening.
Absolutely. And it's like that the consistency is in taking the product, whatever you choose to take, just make sure you're doing it consistently. I truly believe doTERRA created this system as a system, and I have found success in taking the whole system as a whole. But a lot of other people, I know have taken, bits and parts of it, and it has worked well for them. So that's what works well for me. I take, so everybody who wants to know, I take 2 soft gels first thing in the morning. That's what I do before coffee. I just do that. I feel like it works better for my body. I feel like it curbs my hunger cravings. And so I have my coffee, I have my protein shake in the morning, and then I do my Advantage about 11 or earlier, just depending, but usually I do it mid-morning. And then I do Advantage, and then I take 2 Assist a day. Okay. And so here's the reason why. I have been on a lot of calls with Dr. Osgothorpe, and he truly, is so what they're finding is that people are having great success at being able to optimize and keep your glucose levels, from peaking. And I can tell you by experience, I have had a lot of peaking. I didn't do my glucose testing, but I can tell you by the way I felt that I had a lot of peaks and valleys, right? Like, I mean, we go like this and then we crash, right? Multiple times a day, hundreds of times a day. And so I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing that. And so I just take 20 to 30 minutes, maybe before lunch. And sometimes I don't take that. And Dr. O also says that now they're finding, as times are changing, right? Like it's actually better to take it with your meal instead of before your meal. So, things are changing as more people are trying this out. There's no right or wrong answer to that. And that's what I love, is that as long as you're consistent, take the product, you will find success. And so I have had people who have taken it for 3 months and say, I've lost a few pounds here and there, but don't give up hope. They have so many other changes. That's why I say, make sure you're taking pictures like of your face and your full body. If you never share them, that's okay. It's for you to compare yourself so that you can see it working in your own body. It was something that so many of my people were like, I don't like taking pictures. And I'm like, I understand how you feel. I used to never share mine. I used to never, like, my whole weight loss journey has always been a personal journey, and not, my metabolic health has never been publicized. And I was like, with this, I was like, nope, I have to share because it's been so powerful. So pictures, and then also measure, because you will notice differences in your body composition, which is super fun to see. And don't just use the scale as your only thing that you're going by, because you could be disappointed. And I don't want that for anyone, because there are so many more benefits to this system than just that.
Yeah. I think what I've seen is those that have more inflammation notice the drop in the scale quicker than those that maybe have done some cleansing and, don't have as much inflammation. They notice the composition changes more in like the clothing fit, not necessarily what's reflected on the scale. So I completely agree with that. For those in our group, we do have a 30-day challenge guide. If you want to do all the things and get all the baselines, there's other recommended tests in there that you can seek out if you really want the full picture of all that data and tracking, which I think is great. Some people aren't going to want to do that, and they're just going to want to go by how they feel, and that's great too. There's no right or wrong. So we're grateful for all those that tracked. And so Alicia, can you take us through like your 5 months in? So if you can remember, because I think you were real good about tracking, like, okay, here's 1 month, here's second month, here's the third month. Do you remember, and can you take us along that journey, like kind of month by month, what you noticed at each increment there?
Yeah, I think when I first started, I shared some of those things, right? And I think it was about 7 or 8 pounds that first month. I can't quite remember all of them without my, it printed out or looked at, but it was about that. And then I, I
So you noticed
noticed
the energy and then not as much hair falling out, and then some weight dropped.
Yeah, and then my sleep was a lot better, which I
Okay.
was super grateful for. And then, yeah, so a lot of excitement that first month, right? Second month wasn't as, it was a few pounds. I think that was my hardest month. I think we went on vacation. And so I did indulge in a couple of things, although not near as much as I would have, because my sugar cravings have been like gone. Like, I mean, like I don't even have them, like, and that's like really impressive for a lot of people. And so I did indulge in a couple of things. We went that was over Thanksgiving, and we went to Hawaii. And so I came back kind of nervous to like step on the scale, to be honest, because of past, right? Like sometimes your past, you can have emotions and feelings on that. And I actually had lost like 3 or 4 pounds, and I was so grateful and so excited. And that's ultimately, for me, I knew this system was working in the ways that it was on my metabolic health, because I wasn't focused on just losing weight or working out or all of those things, right? Like I was enjoying my family time. I was enjoying, some of the things that we just do on vacation, and
You were living your life.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so I was excited to see that. So for me, that was like key, like, okay, this is working. on my metabolism in ways that I'd never experienced in the past. You guys, I have tried so many other systems, right, for weight loss in the past and that sort of thing. And guess what? Like, for a short amount of time, they have worked, but it's always come back, right? Like, it's always like one of those things that it's been a roller coaster, right? I've been on this roller coaster for so long. And so I want to encourage you, if that's something that you have experienced, just make sure, like, this is working in such a different way. It's actually working on metabolic health, like as your system, not just pieces of it. Whereas so many other systems, that's what it is. It's just pieces of the whole system in general. So month 2 was a little lower on like the weight loss side, but like I was still all the things, like feeling the differences, seeing the differences. I had a couple of hard times around my time of the month and that sort of thing. To be honest, I wanted to see more, and some of those things that we beat up ourselves up about as women, right? I think we all do that. And so, but I did notice that month that my cycle was different, which I think is important to point out. I have had very light cycles, and it was normal, and like I felt my body changing in different ways, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, and there are certain parts of the system that help regulate those types of things. And I personally saw that on month 2, which I thought was pretty important. Month 3, I've continued to release weight every single month. But more importantly, like just the drive to share with others, and just continue to see the results, right? Like, I'm being consistent. And if I can say that more times than not, like, that is for me the biggest thing, right? So many people are like, oh, I thought it worked. I stopped taking it for a while, or I can't seem to forget to take the assist. You guys, the cyst is so powerful on our glucose regulation that I don't think people understand. It is super important and powerful if you do take it consistently. So that's what I've done with that. And then month 4 was last month. Just the same thing, right? And all of that was like over Christmas and over the New Year's and all of these things, right? Like,
it's very challenging times for people.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I would just say, like, all of the cravings have still continued to stay away. Yes, I'm not seeing as much weight loss on the scale, but I'm still seeing, like, I mean, I've gone down 4 pant sizes. I've been able to fit into clothes I haven't fit into for a very long time. I'm not a shopper, and I actually went shopping. And so some of those things, that are rewarding as women, and that I used to hate, so many people, it's one of those things that's like, you don't want to do that because you kind of feel defeated, right? And for so long I felt pretty defeated. So that's, I mean, and then now we're on month 5, or, going into month 5, or had been in month 5. And so it's so funny because I start to see, is there anything new, right? Like, am I finding anything new? No, that consistency for me has just been key. So, so I don't, that's kind of my journey the last few months.
I think it's great because we're talking about long-term health and wellness, right? One of the side benefits to calibrating or recalibrating your metabolism is all these different things that you're sharing. It's hair growth, it's nail growth, it's better sleep, it's more energy, it's losing, or I should say releasing weight that your body no longer needs to hold on to. And so when we're talking about this, we don't want to market as a weight loss product because it's not, but that is one of the side benefits that happens when we have a normal metabolism. And so you're allowing yourself to make choices, right? These choices day by day that just seem so much easier now because your body is being supported on all levels. And that's going to help change your future, right? It's going to help change your life and the trajectory. And so this is even something that people stay on long term because as we age, our body makes less of these like anti-aging things, right? You guys can look at all the science in our group here and these different products. But I think doTERRA was really brilliant in how they named them. Some people get confused with like, well, what's the advantage and what's the assist? But like when you think about it, that advantage is that collagen shaker, right? Because it gives you an advantage. It's a very quick like way to increase your energy, get your cells working properly. And then the assist assists you in almost like making better choices, right? Because it's assisting your blood sugar, it's keeping that nice and even. And so you're not having as many spikes and dips, which is what the aging process is accelerated by. And so just having all of this functioning together as a system with the essential oil blend that gives you that metabolic advantage. I just think it's so brilliant. And so I want to ask you, what would you say to the person who feels that they can't do this program? Like if there's a hesitation there and they're just like, I don't know, maybe it's me, like I'm just not, like I've tried so many things, what would you say to that person?
I simply say, make sure you have accountability partner and you can do it. You can do it. Like you have that power. And I feel like MetaPWR gives us the power to be able to accomplish it. Like if you just try it for yourself, because I noticed like for me and it past things, right? With, kind of our weight and that sort of thing. And just doing anything new in general, right? Like having an accountability partner, somebody to check in with is so valuable. Like you will stay more consistent if you just share with somebody that you're doing this and check in with them. And I think that you'll notice that like you can do it too. Like you can do it. Like if I can do it, you guys, you can do it. Because I have like legit, like it's been nothing special like for me to like have results. I just decided that like I wanted to try it for myself to see what the benefits were going to be. And it's like blown my expectations out of the water. Like the science like piece of this like blows my mind at how it's working in our bodies. And and I'm a massage therapist, so I know like what our body should be doing, right? Like, and I tell my clients all the time, we only have one body, like take care of it. And that's metabolically speaking to you guys. Like we have to take care of ourselves metabolically and not let food like, control us. And I felt like before it had that grip on me, and so I just felt free from that. And so that's partly what, MetaPWR has done for me in that way. I do drink the oil throughout the day in my water, 2 to 3 drops in my big Nalgene bottle. I do chew the gum. Some people say they're not gum chewers. Like even if you chew it a little bit and then spit it out, like it's better. Like it's crazy how I wasn't expecting the appetite suppressant that I feel. Like to be honest, like I was on in my past, I was on a weight loss appetite suppressant, okay, like over the count, like medicated, like, and I can tell you, I feel way better on this natural system than I ever did with a natural or with a appetite suppressant. So I'm here to tell you, you guys, like it works in ways that like, I just can't, I mean, I'm just shocked. I'm still shocked about and grateful.
Yeah. Well, I think you nailed it. You said, I just decided. And I really think that's what it is. I think timing is important. I think you need to feel ready. And so when you're ready, you're going to just decide, like, I'm just going to do this. So thank you, Alicia. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off here?
No, yeah. I just, if I can say one thing, it's just like I truly feel like that accountability partner piece is super helpful. So just make sure that like invite somebody into your journey, because I think that you'll surprise yourself if you if you have somebody to share that experience with. Like for me, my sister started a little bit after I did, but we've just been able to share some of our experiences together. And of course I have a doTERRA team and they know, but like personally on a daily basis, right? Like the people who are closest with you, like some people that have known your struggles that you can open up to. I think it's super important to like invite them in and just let them like lift you up a bit, right? This is an emotional journey, and it sure has been for me. And I feel like, if you're vulnerable to that, and like, you just say, like you said, Heidi, you just said, you just decide like you're ready. And I feel like if people are ready and they're ready for that, like there's so much more that changes inside of us through this journey and through this process. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by that as well.
Yeah, that's so good. I just thought of one more thing to ask you, because in 5 months, it seems like such a short amount of time, even though day by day you're making daily decisions that are compounding on each other. And so it may seem like, wow, it's been a long time, but it's been a short time at the same time. And so can you just share, like, truly, and this is going to make me emotional, like, where would you be today if if we didn't have this 5 months ago? Like, so many people,
I
I mean, we're in a group of like over 10,000 people, you guys, that share testimonies, and it's literally changing lives that are going to impact generations. So can you speak to that personally, of where you feel like you would be today if you didn't start 5 months ago?
um I would be depressed still. I would be all of the things, and I'm crying because like it's so powerful to me. Like I'm so grateful for doTERRA, and I'm so thankful for this system, like in the how many lives we've been able to change like with it, because of some of these things, right? And just be patient with yourself, like just be gracious with yourself. Like our bodies didn't get the way that they are overnight, right? Like
Mhm.
this isn't going to be an overnight journey. And you know what's fun, and I think that's something that I haven't noticed in the past, is I've actually really enjoyed the journey, instead of just the
Mm.
destination. And in before, I would never share with people that I've lost 5 pounds this week, or I've, or this month, or, or
Mm.
that I've seen the inflammation go down in my face, or that like I'm more confident, like I can wear makeup in pictures and posts on Facebook. Whereas before I would have never done that, like ever. And I feel like my skin is changing. I feel like all those things. And it's empowering me to like be able to share in
Mm.
such a different way. And I would have never had that ever. Like that was not me. I just, it wasn't. And so I feel like there are so many more things with this system that have changed my journey versus just like I just want to lose 50 pounds, right? Like I just want to do that, or I just want to, I hear that all the time. If I would just lose 40 pounds, I'd be happier. Will you be? You guys, we have to enjoy the
So,
journey to get there. And like it changes us, right?
yeah.
It truly changes us. And I feel like I just feel like a connection to the journey and to the people I've let into my journey, especially like you guys, just being able to like share my testimony with people. And I'm so grateful for that, because it not only helps the people who are listening, but it helps me too. And so
Mhm.
thank you
Yeah.
for allowing me to share.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. I just like see this boldness on you, like this lioness that's ready to roar, because what you said before of like, we just stay stuck, we stay hidden. And so it's almost like not, yeah, it's like a revealing, like an unveiling, right, of who you were truly created to be. And that's able to be expressed because you feel totally free of anything that was holding you back. So I thank you so much, Alicia, for just being vulnerable and sharing with us your real journey, your struggles. So anybody that's watching,